Hi, Tiffany. Thank you so much for taking the time today to let me interview you, first of all, and so that we can share a little bit about who you are and how you are connected to the blueprint.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be a part of the event again. It's one of my favorite things to do. So thank you right back for letting me be here.
Yeah. So, first, I want to acknowledge that, yes, you have done this a couple of times now. We've worked together through various other conferences and events, and you have done a stellar job of emceeing our events and moderating and supporting our presenters throughout the course of the day of the events. And this year, you have two hats. So you're the MC and presenter. So thank you for that. But also, tell us what you're going to be talking about as a presenter, as a speaker, and really, what led you to taking a chance on yourself and putting yourself on the stage.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. I am going to be talking about the mind body connection and how it connects to our belief systems and then how we take action. Because we can say over and over again that we believe something to be true in our lives and we keep wanting to move towards a goal, towards some place and this better place we know exists and we see it for other people, but for some reason we hold ourselves back. And so what is that? What is that about ourselves? And I've watched people over the years in my previous business. I was a massage therapist, I was an esthetician, and I helped people with their pain for 25 years. And I realized that so many people were coming to me. I would talk to them about stress. I would talk to them about the fact that muscles have memory and they are reacting in a way that maybe because you had an injury when you were younger, but now when you get stressed, your muscles react in the same way.
Mhm.
What I was able to do was now pull that into the coaching part of my life where I talk to people and we deal with the actual stress part of things, the anxiety part of all of that. And
Yeah.
so this band-aid that I was putting on these issues for a long time when I realized that people were coming to me more to talk. And because of my scope of practice, it's not counseling, it's not therapy. I can't give advice, but I could ask leading questions, which
Yeah.
is now what I do.
Yeah.
So that's an exciting thing. So now I'm able to present in a way that brings all of those worlds together. So I can talk to people about those belief systems that are holding us back from where we want to be. And I can talk to them about that pain that we keep distracting ourselves with instead of getting to the root cause of things. And so I'm going to be bringing that into a very practical setting
Mhm.
at the blueprint where I can also draw from some of my physical fitness background in this and now aerial silks and different things that I do where you can do something that's scary and you can do something that you didn't believe you can do, but we train our body and we train our mind in the same way, little by little. We give it a
Mhm.
thing that's like, well, this is scary. Okay, I did this.
Yep.
Now this is safe. So now we
Mhm.
grow here.
Yeah.
So those small movements, you can't walk in a gym the first day having never done anything and pick up 100-pound weight. You also can't walk into this huge opportunity that you're looking at down the road and say, well, why can't I just get there? Because we have to start from a place of reality and we
Yep.
have to start by training our mind, our body, and the whole person to
Yeah.
go towards that place we want to be.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love that. This whole time I'm just so engrossed. I'm like, oh, I cannot wait to hear this on the stage.
Well, I'm
And
excited to
to
present it. It's something that's very meaningful to me.
thank you for just allowing us, your captive audience, to hear you from your experience, but also a way that we can take those small steps forward and really integrate some of those tools and techniques into our own lives. So I'm really excited and looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too.
Something that has been on my mind, I have been waiting to ask you this question. As you are stepping onto the stage as a speaker and a presenter for women in business, I am so curious. What is the one thing that you hope that they will take away from your presentation?
That they can, just that they can,
Yeah,
that there's a
so good.
possibility. I see so many people who believe that they can't do a thing. And when they start to realize the power they have in the choices that they make every day, and this
Mhm.
can be as small as the shoes you picked out, you know, the shirt, the choosing to go to work. We talk about things like I have to go to work. But it is a choice, really. You can choose to
Mhm.
stay home. You just aren't going to like
Absolutely.
the consequences of
Yeah,
that choice. But
yeah.
if you start really looking at all of the choices that you have, that you make, and you start to see that power that you really do have every single day, you start to see that there are things you can do. And so that's one of the hopes that I have, is that in presenting that day, I can give people a framework to see that they can.
Okay, I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. Not only am I excited about hearing you present that mind body connection, the importance of understanding it and harnessing it as maybe a super strength, but also the yes, I can do this and I'm choosing to do it because also here's an opportunity ahead of me that could really make a change in my life, including attending the blueprint.
Yes, a very good
Awesome.
choice.
Yes, great choices.
Mhm.
So, okay. Well, I want to switch gears for just 2 seconds and ask you, as the MC of the event of the Blueprint, you've had an opportunity to interview so many of our speakers. We still have a couple more interviews to do, but I would love to know, what is the common thread amongst all of them thus far that you've picked up as you have listened to them?
I would say that a common thread that I see in all of the presenters, everybody who's been a part of this, is that they come to this with such meaning, such conviction, such a backstory to everything that they are bringing. That this is not, nobody I have talked to yet just, fell upon this. And so this is an okay thing that they do, and they're kind of good at it. So they're going to come and talk a little bit. No, these are women with a genuine connection to what they do and to what they're bringing. And they are bringing it in a way that is meaningful to them,
Mhm.
that has its own life. A lot of the time as entrepreneurs, we call our businesses our babies, and it
Yes.
has its own life that has grown
Yeah.
with alongside them. And so these stories that they bring and the little pieces that show up in different ways that may have come out of a traumatic event in their lives, or a beautiful event, or a mixture of both a lot of the
Mhm.
time. And this is real life that they have put into action and are now sharing it with people in a meaningful way.
Yeah, I could not agree anymore. And that is absolutely one. That's why they were chosen. Yes, I'm so glad that you picked up on that and that there is so much love being poured out into their presentations and what they're sharing because they've lived it, because they know what it's like to build these businesses, and now sharing it in a way that's like, yeah. That was really hard.
Yeah.
And here is what I figured out, and here's how it can help you. And it's not just a clinical version of a presentation of, bullet points. It's like actually this framework or this strategy or this tool is or even this technique is what helped me. And here's, how to apply it to your business.
Yes, and also the depth and breadth of knowledge that is behind each one of these presenters, because what they're presenting is a very small part of what they do. And in
Hmm.
these interviews, I've been able to see that, the roots that go so deep and connect to so many other
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
that they are able to touch. And so they are bringing
Yeah. My question there is, what is possible when when a person realizes that they are not the only person navigating fear, when they are not the only person navigating life in big ways, and they take a chance on themselves.
Yes, I think that is one of the really important parts of being in this room is being able to see. So many times we look at other women, other people in business, but especially other women, and we say, they've really got it all together. And I wish that I had that. I wish that my life looked like. And so in these places where we are able to share some of that and get real about those things that we've all gone through and talk about those fears, and that yes, the great thing that we get to be on stage for 20, 30 minutes and talk to people about, and it's all put together in a nice package, but it came from these other places, and it
Yeah.
came from navigating this fear over here and getting over that. And then when you start to see that everybody has had that, and that there are still things that you're afraid of every day, in every way that we grow, you don't get to keep growing unless you're conquering something.
Hmm.
And so one of the things that I've been doing a lot of in the past couple of years is aerial silks, and I will
Hmm.
climb these things. Well, the first couple of days, your first couple of classes, you learn to just step onto it and you lean, and that's exciting and it's scary. And then eventually you're doing something where you're dropping from the ceiling, but you're doing it in a way because you have built upon that every step. And so there
Yeah.
are still fears, but you
Hmm.
also know that you're safe in going forward. And so,
Hmm.
in much the same way, we can build our lives in that, where, yeah, I know that I'm still going to confront some new thing that can be a little fearful at first, but I
Hmm.
have the confidence to know I got through this, and that was scary. I
Yeah.
bet I can make it through this thing too. Because
Yes.
also, as we are in these rooms with other people and we develop our own skills, that tool set that we have gets better and better so that
Hmm.
we are able to conquer bigger and bigger things.
Yeah.
So those fears, and honestly too, I think part of it is I was talking with a client once who said something about their family is awkward, and that they do awkward things, but that's real. If
Hmm.
you are willing to be a little vulnerable, a little goofy, and a little awkward around people, that's reality.
Hmm.
And you're not putting on some mask to try to just look good for everybody else. You're living
Yeah.
a real life. And
Yeah.
that can be scary too, but it brings real joy.
Yes, for sure. Real connection.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. I agree. There are lots of opportunities for just recognizing that learning to trust ourselves, because we've taken those little steps, as you mentioned earlier, just one step at a time. So trusting ourselves, and then also recognizing that fear is okay. It is also a survival instinct. It's okay to be fearful, but trusting that we know what we can take a step forward, despite that fear. So I love
Yeah, you
that.
can look at the edge of the cliff and have a healthy respect for not stepping over it. You
Absolutely.
know?
Yes. You know what's going to happen if you step over the ledge.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so one more question.
Yeah.
Why do you believe that connection is not merely a nice addition to business growth, but an essential part of it?
I think that one of the benefits of doing all of these interviews that I was saying earlier, where you see the depth and breadth of knowledge that's also there, is because whenever you connect with people in a way that's not just a few moments in a business card exchange, but you get to really spend time with someone, you learn about all of those, the roots, as we were saying earlier,
Yeah.
all of those things that really touch other areas of their lives, where you might find that, oh, you used to teach ballroom dance, what? Or you did something with foster kids, what? Well, my I have a foster, so you start to find these connections
Hmm.
where you can help people in their lives, and that background that can propel you into other places, and maybe as a thing that you didn't even know somebody else was working on or working towards, but you can
Hmm.
put them in touch with someone, and you can create even more of a web of connection in doing so. But we build real community when we do that. We don't
Yes.
just say, oh yeah, I've got a friend who does signs, oh well, now you've grown that person's business too. They
Hmm.
remember that, and that person has somebody that they can connect with, and who knows what they're going to talk about, if it's a dog or a ferret or something where they find connection. You just never know what that is,
Yes.
that can be that point where now you've created something else. And I think overall, if we started to be more curious and work more on connection with people than to be fearful of people who are different,
Hmm.
if we can change that fear and anxiety into curiosity, excitement, and connection, then I think that heals the world a little at a
Oh,
time.
yes. Straight to my heart. Absolutely. 100% agree with that sentiment, and relate to it in a way that, you and I have gotten to work together so much in the last few years, but also recognizing that the work that you're doing with the blueprint and for the blueprint is not just transactional. Like, you are making an impact in other women's lives, just as the MC, yes. And then you learn about them and you get to know them, and they feel seen and they feel heard when you're asking them questions, because I've listened to the interviews and I know how great they are and I know how well you do with that part of it. Obviously, that's why I keep asking you to come back. But you're intentional about it. And so the presenters and the speakers, they know that when Tiffany interviews them, they are listened to. They can share openly and not feel like it's got to be in a box. They can be real and they can be honest and authentic and genuine. And that piece of it, even if it's just in that conversation, when we get to the day of the event, they are going to be so much more confident and they're going to be so much better in their presentation and in their speech and in their connections, because they're going to say, yes, Tiffany heard me. Tiffany knew how much this meant to me. So I appreciate every piece of what you just said, but also you embrace it and embody it so well. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you. I love creating a space where if we can make it flow a little better throughout the day, and if every speaker goes on with a sense of confidence that they've been here before, they've already done this, they've basically given part of it to me, then they can give it to everybody else and the day just flows better.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, Tiffany, I have one last question.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you the floor to share either a favorite book or a favorite quote or both, and what it means to you.
Okay. My favorite quote since I was very young is, you did what you knew how to do, and when you know better, you do better. Maya Angelou. And I think the reason that that has stayed with me so much is that I have a passion for learning. And I think that we can always grow and always learn. And so it's okay to forgive yourself for doing what you did in the moment with the tools that you had, but also to hold yourself accountable that when you know better, you do better.
Absolutely.
And so that's a very meaningful one to me, that we can always do better, and to always be learning how to. And right now, some books that have stuck with me are Mind Your Body, Unlearn Your Pain, and the Mind Body Prescription. They all kind of deal with the same thing
Yes.
in dealing with chronic pain and anxiety, and how those show up in our lives and hold us back in different ways. So it really relates to a lot of my life's work, from massage to now, and
Mhm.
those have been very impactful for me here
Mhm.
lately.
Yeah, I love that. And it's so relevant to your topic, to your speech for the blueprint, that recognizes how important it is for us as women, in our daily lives, to advocate for ourselves. We first got to understand what it is that is going on and why, and then advocate and know how to do better and connect to the right resources. And I know this because I've read the books, but
Yeah.
and I know your presentation, but I think, tying that together really is just a beautiful bow on top of everything that we will be learning and integrating into our practice. Your speech, your presentation will absolutely be vital for that day. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, Tiffany, is there anything that you would like to share as we wrap this up about the blueprint? Any last words of wisdom or tips or advice for anyone?
I think if you are a person who is debating this, say yes. So many times we say maybe, and just say yes, because the possibilities are there. Never once have I ever regretted a healthy decision. I might regret leg day like for a few minutes the next day, but I don't regret the long-term effects of a healthy decision. And so I think this is one of those healthy places to be overall: mind, body, soul, spirit. And so say yes to the healthy thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Say yes to the blueprint.
Yes, yes. And we'll have
Okay.
cookies.
Yes. And we'll have cookies. All right. So thank you so much, Tiffany. And I know we'll see each other before then, but to everyone else, join us on September 17th of 2026, just here within the next month, at the Barley House at Moontown Crossing at the Blueprint Women in Business Summit. See you then.
Yes.